It is very common for fuel pumps to fail on these cars, and they're not that fun to replace because you have to drop the rear axle out of the car. And if I remember, I will show you that in this video. I'll show you where that's located. Because I've had at least 2 parts cars where the carpet in the rear of the car has been removed and they have cut a trap door to access the fuel pump. That is not the way to do it. That takes structure out of the car. If you see that kind of redneck repair on one of these, walk away. Unless you're planning to build a drag car. If you're cutting all that metal out back there to put drag slicks under it and 4-link it and whatever, then who cares what's been done to it structurally back there as long as the outside skin is still square. Okay, back to it. We're going to start it. We're not going to touch foot feed. Okay? You shouldn't have to on a fuel-injected car. This is old, 30-year-old fuel injection, but they still work without pumping the pedal. There. We did not depress the gas, and she started. She's a little loud. So, what's that tell you? It's probably not a muffler on the car, or there is exhaust damage. Show you that in a minute. You want to look up here, see where everything's at. Okay? Speedometer's not moving. It shouldn't. You're not driving. There's your water temp. She is cold. There's your fuel level. There's your battery. Okay. Now, I didn't think far enough ahead on this video. I actually blocked myself in with my truck back there. I should have took this around the block. We might do a video, might be the next video. We go around the block with this car. But right now, she's cold start. Tach seems to be working. Oil pressure looks good. Now, when this car warms up, you want to watch that. You want to watch that oil pressure right there. You want to see where it comes down to. Now, like I said, I've owned this car 3 years. When this car fully warms up, it comes down around between 28 to 32 PSI on the oil pressure. That's normal. That's fine on these old cars. It's not a problem. Now, when it warms up, if it's down here, if it's down between like 0 and 10, you got problems. You got an oil pump problem, or there's not enough oil in the motor, you've got a problem. Something else to look at on these cars with these Tachs. Now, on a base model coupe, 4500 is pretty much going to be your red line. You can rev them up, but you don't want to keep it revved up like this. The caution line is 4500 RPM to 5000. The actual red line is 5000 on a typical 305 base model coupe. I don't know what it is on the 6-cylinder cars because I don't buy them. Now, if you'll notice, my RPMs have dropped from 2,000 to about 1,600. That's what you want it to do. That means your sensors and your computer and all that are reading the air mixtures correctly. It means that it's not stuck in a loop or something. Now, the reason I brought this up with the 5,000 RPM red line is because on the IROCs, the ones that had the higher output motors weren't marked high output. The way to tell if they're high output or not is instead of having a 5,000 RPM red line, it'll be 5,500. And there's some controversy about whether or not those are a Corvette motor. All these motors are Corvette sourced, all the 350s that were actually put in the IROCs. But, there's a lot of hubbub about, whether it's special or not. It's not a big deal. It's only a 500 RPM difference in the red line. It really makes no difference in these cars. It's basically just a marketing sales pitch thing. Now, this speedometer reads to 115. The IROCs will read higher than that. I believe they read to 125. But back to this. Here's your turn signal lever. Want to make sure your turn signal indicators are working. Just standard pre-purchase inspection stuff. That is your tilt lever. This is a tilt column, which makes ignition switch replacement even more fun. There's your hazard switch. Just good general measure. You want to make sure that stuff works. If it doesn't, it's a good indicator of wiring issues, either minor or major. But, it is what it is. See, our oil pressure's up pretty good there. Now, we haven't really warmed this car up, but I'm going to rev it a little bit, just a little, because you want to make sure that tachometer is working. Okay, that's working, but like I said, car's loud. Why is it loud? She does have a little bit of a miss, but you look underneath here, big void where the muffler's supposed to be, right there. Okay, where's the muffler? It's not here, it's gone. These cars all had fake duals. This one pipe comes all the way to the back into a muffler, and then two outlets come out with fake tips hanging out underneath the back end here. So, you know, don't think, if somebody tells you that it's got factory dual exhaust, they are full of crap. They are lying to you. There's my exhaust. Now you can hear the miss. So there is a mechanical issue, whether it needs plugs and wires or a tune-up, maybe it needs the injectors cleaned, whatever. But it's not smoking. Pay attention to that. That's good. You don't want it to smoke at idle. If it's smoking at idle, it probably needs piston rings. Especially a high miles car. Now you want to look at the exhaust here. Make sure your catalytic converter is still there. They are still required. The exhaust looks good. Good stainless pipe. So the exhaust has been somewhat taken care of on this car. That's good. That's what you want to see. Tires. Said earlier these are new tires, or at least new looking. You want to look at your date codes, of course. But you can't really see it here too well, but you can see that tire's a little low. What that typically is on these old aluminum wheels is a dirty bead in here. See, we got a little rattle there with a bracket on the exhaust. Anyway, it's a dirty bead on the wheel, and it causes these to leak down ever so slowly as the cars sit. So if the tires are new, but it's still low, it's probably a dirty bead underneath here. My RPM's kicked up. So don't be too alarmed about that, but like if the tire's flat, you know, be careful. Get some air in it. You know, exercise caution with that. These rear tires don't leak down. That's because I went to a quality shop that knows what they're doing to have these put on. Because Cooper Cobra tires, they're not super expensive, but they're not cheap either. Okay? So when they put these on, before I could even ask them, they went ahead and cleaned the beads. These wheels and tires do not leak back here. Go to a good tire shop. If you don't know one, get some recommendations. Find out who the good tire shop is in town and go to them. Because cheap work is only going to lead to problems like that. I need to have these taken to that shop and have them remounted and have them clean those beads. Okay, we don't hear any noises up here. I'll let you listen to that motor for just a second. It's all normal belt and pulley noise. No noises, no ticks up here. That's what you want. But see, we got a little bit of smoke back here. Valve guides. I will see if I can catch that on camera so you can see what I'm talking about. We're going to look right back there where that exhaust is in that corner, and we're going to rev it a couple times. See a little bit of blue smoke right there? That's valve guides. That's very common on these old small block Chevys, especially high mileage motors. It's not that big a deal. If you know what you're doing, you can have them pulled off, send them to a machine shop, or maybe you've got all the tools, maybe you've got a valve grinder, you can go and do the head job yourself. Not that big a deal. If you take it to a machine shop, it's not necessarily going to be cheap. It depends on your definition of cheap. Okay, we're about done with this video. This video is way longer than I anticipated. You've listened to me sit here and talk for almost an hour now. Real quick, you want to check your windows. You want to make sure they work. Now, right now, I know that window's not working. See? I am pressing that switch, and I'm getting nothing out of that. There's two things you can do there, though. You're not only testing the window, you're testing the charging system. I'm going to push that button again. You listen to the RPMs. RPMs didn't drop. It's not putting a huge draw on that battery. So, you can check a few things. I'm not real great with electrical, but, is what it is. Okay, now we're going to do driver's side. These windows are kind of slow from the factory, so, that speed right there is pretty average. Man, this car's filthy. Okay. Don't like doing this with the hood open, but those are good props, and they're pretty solid. What we're going to do now, we can't go on a test drive. I might do another video tomorrow or something, but the access here is blocked right now by my truck. Right now we're just going to test transmission. We're going to make sure it works, make sure it goes into gear. Reverse. It went into reverse just fine. Just let off the brake, no throttle, see if it pulls itself. This one did not. Okay. Put it in drive. It went into drive just fine. No clunks, no whining from the torque converter, no odd noises other than an exhaust rattle. Just let off the brake and it carries itself forward. And you're also checking the brakes before you do a test drive too. The brakes on this car suck. I think I've got a failing booster on this car. Boosters are about $100, but they are really easy to replace. Just a few bolts, slide it off. You don't even have to open the fluid system on the master cylinder. Just unbolt the master cylinder from the booster, unbolt the booster from the firewall, unbolt the pedal from that. Linkage up underneath the pedal there. Slide the old booster out, put the new one in, and installation is reverse of removal. Oh yeah. How's everybody like my floor mats there? I've had those floor mats probably 16 years now. And I have another set of these that are just slightly different. They have carpeted tread sections instead of the bare rubber. But my carpeted ones are actually in my truck. Yeah, it's a Ford with Chevy floor mats. Okay, that's it for this video. You listened to me ramble for an hour. That's amazing. I hope y'all find something useful out of this. Just be careful buying these old cars, because, there's a lot of tricks and a lot of shady people messing with these cars these days. So, just be careful. And I hope you find what you're looking for, and I hope you enjoy it. Till next time. Bye.